Why work sucks and what you can do about it. Here's a question from Rambler. I am curious, do they find ways to scan your personal laptop or iPhone if you are using for work and working from home? Have you ever seen the software that monitors your clicks and mouse motions and does screenshots of your desktop? Yes, there's absolutely that kind of software out there, and there are many ways it can be used. I've seen this done as long ago as 20, even 30 years ago. It was used in a company that I worked for while I saw them doing the data. Now, let me give you a quick disclaimer here. This is my personal experience, and it's not professional or legal advice. Your situation is unique to you. You should follow your guidance. Here's what they were doing, though. In that one company, they were monitoring how often you hit the F1 key. And this is a long time ago. But just seeing that F1 key, and what that did is it pulled up the help menu for the screen that you were working on. This could be at home on one of the company monitors. It could be at home on a laptop, theirs or yours. And it could be on their computer system in the office. What that told them was you needed help. This could be interpreted a couple different ways. One was you're not good at your job and you keep hitting that F1 key. It could also be seen as you need more training because you don't really understand what you're doing. Okay, that's a little bit more positive. But it scared the staff and employees, and nobody was happy about it, and they continued doing it. Does that kind of software exist today? Absolutely. If you are using a personal laptop or a personal phone, and you have to connect to the company's system, the company quite often will have some level of security to keep their records or their system safe and secure. And in order to do that, they need some access to your laptop or your phone. You give them that permission when you sign on to those systems and use your single sign-on or whatever app that they're using to get into their system. If you're using a company virtual private network, you're connecting to their system, and again, they have the connection rights to some of your security to protect themselves. If you're like I am in aerospace and defense, there's a lot of that kind of security, and it comes under a lot of regulations for the government. They will have the ability to look into your computer. If you are loading company email on your laptop or your phone, you're actually giving them some access that you would be surprised how much they can look at. Do they do this? It depends on the company. Do they have the ability? Can that kind of software be put on your system? Sure can. Did you sign something or did you say yes to something when you were loading the software that does it? All of these things will give them access. What I did and what I learned from a boss 15 years ago was that I don't let anything be on my personal laptop or my personal phone. When the company wanted to have a cell phone in my hands, and they provided it, I would have my cell phone and their cell phone. I'd carry two. That's what my boss was doing. He had two phones that were about the same size in his pocket all the time. And I was really surprised he was doing this until I found out why. He would not mix personal with business. Information on the personal phone would be contacts, emails, texting, all these photographs. There's a lot of stuff on a personal phone. And he knew in that particular company that if you had a company phone and they laid you off, they confiscated that phone immediately. Anything you had on there that was personal was no longer in your hands. It was in theirs. He knew that. And he never allowed them to have personal on their company phone. Two phones. Same thing with a laptop. Recently, I had a company. It was a good position, but because it's an international company, it was hard for them to administer and control a laptop or a phone for me over in the United States. And so I went out and bought a separate laptop and a separate phone. Not expensive ones. Good for email, good for communications, good for making a presentation, good for setting up things that they would have to have access to that computer. So Slack, Rally, Teams, Outlook. There's a huge number of programs that we all take for granted that if you're connecting to a company system, they have security concerns. And those security concerns become their path into the machine that you're working on. So for me, I always carry 2 phones, one for business, one for personal, always. If they don't provide a laptop, I provide a second laptop, and I keep it separate, personal, business. I do not mix the two. If they want me to put my personal email onto a laptop because it's easier to travel, forget it. I'll do that email on my phone, and I'll carry 2 phones. So that's what I do. One for business, one for pleasure. Not on the same machine. Do they have the capability? Yes. Now with remote work, this has started to gain ground, gain traction. I have known people who reported that their company was taking snapshots with the camera to see if they were at their computer working. Just on a regular basis, are they at their computer working? I knew another person who said that their keystrokes were monitored while they were doing things, and their job was data entry. So they're putting in data all day long, and the company wants to know that they are doing that, and it's monitoring the frequency of keystrokes. It doesn't have to be every single thing you do, but monitoring something that you do, pretty doggone easy. The technology for software, the technology for hardware, all the internet capabilities, this stuff is there. So yes, I assume when I'm working with a company that I need to keep personal and business separate. That's the deal. I carry 2 phones. I have 2 laptops, one for each.